VHS Morning Show with Mr. Brenner and Mrs. Keating.
Good morning, Trojans, and welcome to the morning show with Mr. Brenner and Mrs. Keating with today's special guest, Chief Ralph Dooley from the Troy Police Department. Thanks for being with us today, Chief.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you with us.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be a good little episode.
Yeah.
Great. If everyone would please, on this Thursday, December 3rd, 2020, please stop, stand, and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now please join me in a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. On to you, Mrs. Keating, for the announcements.
All right, so school is set to return for in-person instruction on Monday, December 7th, and athletic practices are also set to start on this date. We will discontinue the morning show when school returns to in-person instruction. Don't be too sad. I'm sure that we'll come up with something so you can see and hear Mr. Brenner and I. We don't want you to miss us too badly. So next week, this is awesome. Mrs. Risley and the crew have been working on some awesome things to get us back into the spirit of school and the holiday. And we're going to have our 10 days of holiday cheer here at the high school. And an email is going to be sent out with each day's theme. And to start us out on Monday is going to be Sparkle and Shine. Tuesday, Holiday Hat. Wednesday, Red versus Green. The boys are green and the girls are red. And Thursday, Snowflake. I think she also mentioned that there's going to be a theme for Friday and you'll be able to send pictures in. So we can't wait to see everybody back with us, and let's do this and show our holiday spirit. Yeah, it sounds fun, doesn't it?
Sounds fun. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do for Sparkle and Shine Day.
I'm not sure if you know this or not, but I have an entire December's worth of fun, crazy sweaters and gear for the holiday. So I haven't started yet, but once it's off and running, I even have some of my mom's retro ugly sweaters, which I don't think she considered them ugly in the day. But I think she considered them really nice, but we'll see.
We will see. I'm excited to see all of these.
I can't wait to see you in Sparkle and Shine. That's going to be good stuff. Chief, do you want to come for a guest spot for Sparkle and Shine?
No, thanks.
Maybe we can just like shine the badge up a little bit, make it sparkly. All right, on to you with the news, Mr. Brenner.
In the news, President Trump has been said to be considering a run for the presidential election in 2024. Funding for the National Guard's pandemic expense is set to run out at the end of the month. The president can renew it if he chooses. The United Nations has set up a fund to help Lebanon, which has been struggling financially due to explosions and COVID. And an apartment collapsed in Egypt yesterday, killing at least 6 people. They're still searching through the rubble. The building was built in the 1940s. That's all for news today. On to you for sports.
Well, the Steelers and Ravens finally played yesterday after being delayed 3 times. And the Steelers did move on to 11-0. It wasn't pretty. It was practically the Ravens practice squad and a lot of the Steelers players out also due to COVID reasons. But they did eke out a win of 19-14. Also, the NBA announced 48 positive COVID tests with their initial reentry testing. So they're getting ready to start their season. They do a bubble-like situation where once the players are in, they're in. And the Houston Rockets and the Washington Wizards agreed to a trade deal between Russell Westbrook and John Wall. And we are on to this day in history, Mr. Brenner.
On this day, in 1918, Illinois was admitted to the Union as the 21st state. In 1918, the Allied Conference ends in London, where they decide that Germany must pay for the war, and we know that that led to some unintended negative consequences. In 1989, Presidents George Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev announced the official end of the Cold War. And in 1992, a test engineer for Sama Group sends the world's first text message using a personal computer in the Vodafone network. That's all for this day in history. On to you for weather.
Can you imagine if the first text message was never, we had a similar conversation yesterday, right? If the internet went down, what in the world would everybody do?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Crazy. All right. So the weather, it's going to be much, much warmer today with partly sunny, and 48 degrees is a high today. And tonight we'll see mostly cloudy and a low of 30. It looks like there's a storm coming in that's probably going to be mostly rain for us this weekend.
You know, it was a little chilly coming in this morning to work.
Yeah, I had to, did start the car this morning. We want to make sure we're warming everything up before we come. A little bit of frost on the windshield. This is just the start of all the a lot of freezing cold mornings, I think, right?
Yeah. All right. So in our COVID-19 update, the COVID relief bill is a $900 billion package, and it is currently gaining some bipartisan support. In our county, we're ranked 57 out of 67 for infection rate. Also in our county, 5.9 people out of every 10,000 will test positive for COVID each day. Now, so just for reference, the worst county right now, so we're at 5.9 out of every 10,000 test positive each day. The worst county right now is Cambria County, where 12.6 out of every 10,000 will test positive each day. And then the lowest county is Pike County. So in Pike County, 1.5 out of every 10,000 people will test positive each day.
Yeah,
So
Cambria County had 200 in some cases yesterday in a day. That was crazy. And I think we were at 48. So it's crazy. Crazy thoughts. Now they're a little closer to Philadelphia, so that's a little bit of a different. Crazy.
All right. Moving on to our favorite portion of the show. Welcome, Chief Dooley. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you here with us.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I think it'll be fun, kind of go over, like I told you, and when we were talking about doing this, I want to focus more on humanizing myself as a police officer, you know, because I mean, so many are just dehumanized in the world, really.
Yeah. I agree with you 110%. And I want to tell the story of the first day that I met you. We had a situation. It was really, I think, my second or third day here. And Mr. Brenner told me, you need to call Chief Dooley and have him, you know, he's going to come over and see, you know, just call him and see what he has to say. And I spoke to you and you said, okay, well, I'll come over and see you. And all of a sudden I look up and I look over at my door and of course you're standing there. And I said, hi, can I help you? And I'm thinking like that you're a student from tech and the law enforcement. And I'm like, you're like, oh, I'm Ralph Dooley. And I'm like, you're Chief Dooley. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I have a bit of a baby face. I don't look as old as I am.
But of course your reputation precedes you, and we've worked together a bunch of times since then. And we're excited to work together every day. And of course we've gotten to know a lot of things about you, and you definitely do have, you know, a life outside of here and do so many different things. And we're going to focus on some of those things today. And we're glad to have you as part of our team, and we do work together. And again, we've emphasized that with so many different people we've had on our show, and we couldn't do any of the things that we do if we didn't have our people in our community with us as well as part of our school
team
community.
effort, that's for sure.
It has to be. It definitely has to be.
So Chief, are you working from the police station right now?
Yep, I'm sitting in my office right now, and that picture actually on there of the white borough building, yeah. That's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
Did you know that back in the late 1800s, that building was the high school principal's house? So, so I may be moving back in. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that was the high school principal's house. I don't know what happened between then and now.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, Chief, can you just tell us a little bit about why you became a police officer? Well,
it's a very long story. I'll keep it short, but I don't know. Just as a kid, it was just something I was always interested in. And like whenever I saw a police officer, it was always like, I don't know, it was just kind of like a wow factor. And like I had major respect for all of them, even back then. And it was just something that was always on my mind. And my grandfather was before I was alive, and for a short period of time. And then I guess my dad also was for a short period of time. And so I guess it's kind of in my blood. And I don't know, I always felt like I wanted to be involved in something good for the the community and the world, you know?
Absolutely.
So I couldn't really think of a better thing to do than get involved with this. And so I kind of put that in my mind, and I had that in my mind all growing up. So
we really feel like we're lucky to have you in our community. The district has a great relationship with the department that you're leading, and it gives us some confidence and comfort to know that you're just down the road. You know, a couple of times we've had situations where we've had to call you and it's like you're there right away. So we really appreciate you being around for us and for our community.
There's no doubt.
well, thank you for that.
So on a normal day, what does a normal day for you look like?
Well, normal isn't a very good word, I don't think, but
It doesn't for any of us.
that's part of why I like doing this as a career, because every day is so different. Like, I don't know what every day is going to be, but I guess a normal day would be I come in, make sure all my paperwork's caught up. I'll get out there, observe some traffic, any calls that come in, handle those, whether I have to respond or it's phone calls, this and that. But like they say, like, policing is like 90% of just kind of casual, and then 10% of like very scary. So you never know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis.
When I met you, you were Officer Dooley, and then a couple of years ago, you were promoted to the chief of the police department. Can you tell us what the difference is? What's it like to be an officer, and then how does it change when you become the chief?
Well, I guess being an officer, it's less, I don't want to say less responsibility, but less things to keep track of, I guess. You're not really responsible for the entire department. Obviously, we all have a big say in it, and our career is very publicized. So anything we do is like under a magnifying glass. So, but anyway, so going from officer to chief, it's more of like extra paperwork, extra phone calls that normally I'd be like, oh, well, I'll give this one to the chief. But I can't do that because I'd be giving it to myself. But so yeah, I mean, it's more responsibility really. And if the community has a complaint or something, then it comes to me, and I can't pass it off on anybody else. And it's something I have to look into. And so I guess that would be the biggest difference.
So what kind of reasons do you see people getting pulled over the most in Troy, like traffic stops? What do you?
Well, surprisingly, it's probably registrations being expired and inspections being out of date. I don't know why, but there's a lot around here. And I mean, every day I could get somebody with a registration out, and PennDOT usually sends something in the mail, so it's hard to have a good excuse for it. But that's what I usually hear is, well, I didn't know it was expired. I didn't get anything in the mail. But once you hear that excuse enough times, it's you kind of just brush it off your shoulder. But because I get things in the mail, I don't know. I have vehicles, I keep them up to date. But so I'd say that would be the biggest, and then probably like the third most is probably like speeding, which I think is typical in most towns.
I was going to say it changes really quick. I've learned, I actually still I don't need my GPS anymore because, I make a good commute, but I don't need my GPS anymore, but I have one of the cup holder things, and I keep it there just because it changes so quickly. It goes from 55 to 35 to 25 so quickly that I need to keep it to just keep myself where I need to be because it changes so quickly. But as soon as you come into Troy, it changes pretty quickly. Yeah. You're pretty good though. You don't sit right on that edge. You wait.
No, well, there are laws against sitting right on the edge. So yeah.
Oh, we'll see. There's a good reason why you don't then.
Yeah.
You're one of the good guys. We like that.
So how is Troy as a community different than other communities and places that you've been? Like what do you think differentiates Troy in your experience?
Well, I would say, I mean, I'm not from Troy. I'm not from Pennsylvania, and I didn't even really know Troy existed before I worked here, which is kind of funny. I drove through here a lot, and you'll see in some pictures that we have, I'd go to racetracks and stuff, but out in Elkland. So I'd drive on Route 6 through Troy, but it was just kind of like you blink your eyes and you're through Troy. So, but once I came here, it was kind of like a very tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody. And I found a lot of people look out for each other, and so that's a good thing to have in a community. Bring people together and we can work together. And that's huge when it comes to policing. We need community involvement because we can't solve crimes without the help from the communities, whether it's witnesses or anonymous tips and things like that. So I mean, whether it's different than other towns, I don't know, but I mean, it's I've never seen it like this anywhere else.
That's something that I think that we really appreciate about you and your department. You know, it's like a small department relatively, and I think you really find the value in having the community come together. You really promote that, you know, and I know that you say that in private and in public, and that's something you really value. So we appreciate that.
Definitely makes it easier to move in from not being around here. I feel the same thing. Being in this area makes it easier to come here from out of the area too, because people are very welcoming, and they're, you know, it definitely makes it easier. So for our students, unfortunately, we love to bring you in for positive reasons, but a lot of the reasons why we have to collaborate with you are problems we're having with students, or, you know, things that might be of criminal nature, which normally they're at a minimum. But what are maybe some suggestions you might have for our students to keep themselves out of trouble or making good decisions?
Well, I think the best thing for me from experience is put your mind to something and just focus on that. And like mine was becoming something in law enforcement, a police officer. And with that in mind, it really kept me from getting into trouble, because you can't get in trouble and be a police officer. And I mean, you got to look out for your future. I mean, your parents aren't going to be there for the rest of your lives. At some point, they're going to want you to move out, and at that point, you're going to need to be on the right path to so that you can provide for yourself and for your family once you have one. So yeah, I mean, keep a good mindset, focus on your goals, and that's what I did, and it's worked out for me pretty decently, I'd say.
That's great advice. Great advice. Good.
All right, Chief. So now we're going to share some photos that you have shared with us. And like Mrs. Keating said, we want to, you know, just show that, you know, there's a person behind the badge, you know, and you do some pretty awesome things.
These pics are unbelievable. Now I can't wait to get to your really adorable family, but these are like, I would have went with the family first, but Mr. Brenner went like straight gusto right into the X Games stuff here. I love this.
Yeah, so the photo where I'm in like the pink uniform, that was actually from this year, I believe, this summer. And so yeah, motocross has just always been, that was another thing that was on my mind as a kid, like motocross. I don't know, I'm obsessed with riding motorcycles. And motocross was my favorite to watch, and eventually I was able to do it myself, and that was another thing. I just had to put my mind to it, because our family, we couldn't really afford to get me dirt bikes and go racing. It's not a cheap sport, and it's very dangerous. So but when I was able to, I ended up buying my own bike. It's actually that blue bike right there that I bought when I was 18, I believe it was, and then I was racing ever since, and it slowed down now that I have a family. That's really what slowed it down. But I still get out there. I still ride. I still love it.
So
we can't have you breaking any legs or anything. We need you.
Yeah. Will you be requisitioning a police motorcycle now for the Troy Police Department?
Yeah, well, we got to convince them, because I definitely ride it around town, that's for sure.
That would be great.
That'd be great. I like the photo where you're giving like a little bit of a fist bump there. It looks like.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and his name's Kyle Baker. But we used to ride all growing up, and we would race together, and that was at a track in Montrose, which is now shut down. But yeah, so that was actually the biggest jump on the track, and we're like, let's see if we can get a fist pump going, and so we both hit it at the same time, and we did it.
whoever took the picture deserves a lot of credit, because that's a great timing there too. Where's the picture on the left? That looks like some great.
Yeah, that's so those two pictures where I'm by myself they're actually, it's the same exact jump, just one zoomed in, one's not, and that's in Elkland, Pennsylvania at Miles Mountain Motocross.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's only like I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes from Troy. From my house, it's more of like an hour and a half, but yeah, that's my favorite track to ride at.
That's very cool. All right, so
Pretty.
let's go on to the next photo here. So we see you're here, it looks like with your racing trailer on one photo, and then this must be your wife on the other, correct?
Yep. This was just this summer. We went out for a track day, and it was actually basically a memorial for a friend of mine that has been riding with us all growing up, and he actually just passed away this summer in a four-wheeler accident. But so we put on a track day and to benefit his wife, and so yeah, we rode all day there, and that was just, I don't know, a few months ago actually.
This is cool. I like how you have Dooley Racing right on the side of your trailer. That's kind of neat.
Yep.
That's awesome. Very
Okay.
cool. Awesome. Oh, and the babies. Tell. So tell
yeah,
us.
there's a couple of my kids though. The two on the left is my daughter. Her name's Luma Diana, as you can see from my tattoo. And then the one on the right, he's Jack. He's our oldest. He's 7 now, and she is 5.
Oh,
Wow.
very cool. So they're in school now. Are they virtual or in person right now?
Yeah, so before the school year, we actually decided to do like a homeschooling this year, just because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't want to send them and then have them have to come back home. That's basically what happened last year. So we ended up just saying, well, we're going to do homeschooling this year, and we'll find out what happens for next year.
Are you doing something nice for your wife for self-care to make sure that she's not losing her mind?
You
need some Christmas
I
ideas.
do my best.
If you need some Christmas ideas, come and see me. She should have a little something extra.
Yeah.
So now we've got some family outdoor photos, experiencing nature, and where are you in these photos?
So the one with me and Jack, my son, we're fishing. It's actually a little pond right across the street from our house.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he loved catching the bass. We caught a lot of like the sunfish, but when we got the bass, he was really excited. So we had to get a picture of that.
I caught my first this year too.
Yeah, and I was using a little, I think it was a frozen fish rod. It was my daughter's, but that's all I had. I didn't have my own down there, but we caught that bass on it, so it worked. And then the one where we're near the waterfalls, it's actually in Ricketts Glen, which is, I guess, kind of towards like Scranton area.
That's on my way home. Yeah.
So yeah, we went for a hike, and actually you can see my youngest, Asher, in the backpack that I'm carrying. And we walked all the way down the falls, and I mean, it's a couple miles down there. I think you can go on like a 7-mile hike or a 3-mile like loop. And I think we went on the shorter one, but I carried him the entire way, man. I got my steps in that day, that's for sure.
It's a nice area around there. That's the way I come to and from. I come to and from that way. It's nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great pick. Thanks.
So then this just looks like some traveling out about with you and your wife, and then it looks like, is that a Ricketts Glen photo too on the right?
Yep. And that day, my sister, that's my sister in the back there, she and 2 of my cousins came, and I'm originally from New Hampshire, and so they came down from New Hampshire, and we're kind of sitting at the house like, what can we do? I mean, there's not a ton to do in Bradford County. So we're like, and my wife used to go to Ricketts Glen like when she was younger with her family, and so we all got the bright idea to go there, and it was a nice day out, so we all went hiking, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. But the other picture, it's actually at Tioga Downs at the casino. We actually went to a wedding there, so that was a lot of fun. And the one where we're actually on an airplane, me and my wife went to a wedding down in Mexico.
Cool.
So yeah, we were there for a week, I believe, but that was a lot of fun.
That's where my husband and I got married, and I just said, I'm jonesing for a tropical place somewhere. That's I'm ready.
Yeah. That's the first time I ever actually went out of the country.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
It's nice because you can really just, not being in the United States, you just really truly forget about everything, and you can just put everything aside and it's fine.
Oh yeah, it was nice. It was just like, just forget the world for a while and just chill out on the beach and enjoy the sun.
Yeah, and all inclusive is like you're just like, oh, I don't have to do or bring anything with me. This is phenomenal. Like, it's wonderful.
So yeah, the one photo that I had sent that wasn't on there, which I'm not mad about, it was actually of me when I was very little. And I grew up like my early childhood was the 90s. So I guess back then, mullets were in style. So that's what my mom had on me, was a mullet. And that one picture I sent to Mr. Brenner was me with a mullet. And I'm kind of glad he didn't put it on there. But
You know what? That was just a mistake. I'm gonna find it now and I'm gonna show it.
I laugh at the kids, and I always tell my my family this when I go home, that when I'm at home, that the mullets and the kids with perms and mullets is even better. So because my husband coached football for a long time, and they said, well, the athletes in Troy, they love their mullets and perms. It's like in school for us all over again. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah, weirdly, like old fashions are coming back around.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I'll be joining them, but
right.
Okay, I think I found it here. Just
yay.
Uh-oh.
See it.
Is that it?
Chief and his baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Chief, and your Oshkosh, bagosh there. I like it.
Yeah. So I don't know how old I was there, but I don't know. My mom must have gave me that photo, and
that looks like a 3 or a 4-year-old picture. That looks like a good one.
yeah. So that's me.
That's cool.
Well, maybe we should talk to the borough officials to see if we can have the police department have some mullets. It might be like
Hey, might bring them back. I don't know.
new regulation, you know.
We first got to get the mustaches.
Yes. Oh, that would be nice. Like Smokey and the Bandit. It'll be perfect.
I've got a couple more photos I missed that I want to share.
Oh,
So
good.
Look at this photo.
Oh, look.
Yeah, so that's my youngest, Asher.
Oh, he's the baby.
He's 2 now. But that was, I don't know if that was taken this past summer or.
Well, he looks like you. Now that
Yeah.
you look.
Yeah, well, look at this one.
That's my daughter, Lumen. That's
here?
I want to say that was this past Halloween. We made some
icing.
Halloween cookies.
Black icing.
Yeah.
Those couple got left out, so I saw that we missed them. I thought we better show them. So that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, the purpose of me sending you those random photos is just like what you guys were talking about. Like, I have a family, I have a life outside of policing. I'm not a robot, and I mean, I genuinely care about people, and when I go to a call, like my main focus is to make sure everybody is safe first and foremost, and then proceed with whatever the law requires. So
yeah, well, it's kind of neat to see you, you know, in a different context. I remember one time I saw you at Dollar General, and like I almost didn't recognize you because you weren't in your uniform, and I was like, that guy, like he looks over, and I was like, oh, it's
right.
Chief Dooley. So it's cool to see you in the context outside of work too. Maybe the same thing where like everyone thinks teachers live at school, you know.
Right. Yeah.
People are more than just their job.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate it. And we're at the end of the show. Oh.
We appreciate the work you do with us every day, Chief, and we continue, can't wait to see what comes next. We're going to continue to do great things together.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Hopefully more positive things too. So
Yeah.
It's not always calls for the bad stuff.
So thanks, Chief. We're going to end the show as we always do by playing the Trojan Alma Mater, and then we're going to say goodbye. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
O Trojans, list to our joyous song in praise of the red and white, and honor your alma mater as long as you dare to be true and do right. The good times we've had as the days speed our way will hold in memory dear. We'll honor our high school forever and day. For our dear THS we will cheer.
All right, thanks, Chief. We really appreciate it. And to all those students out there, we hope you have a good day and get your work done.
Log on, Trojans. Get your work done. Have a great day.